Alright guys, welcome back to Elden Ring videos. Yes, the series has returned, and for good this time. We're starting out today in Mohg's Palace. We're going to enter the DLC. We're not going to complete the DLC, we're just going into the DLC to get a lot of goodies. And then we're going to return to the Lands Between and finish our quest here. Before we enter the DLC, however, we're going to kill 3 NPCs. The Whitemask Invader, Varre himself, and unfortunately, we have to let our moral compass go out the window because we're going to have to kill a merchant. But this merchant has the best shop in the game, in my opinion, for our builds. And it's just too hard to get to him, so we're just going to kill him. Now we're going to fight the Whitemask Invader. Now, I recommend sniping the giant bird, which I did not do before heading down here. It's just going to make your life easier, and you can buff a lot easier. So I'm going to buff on horseback with Golden Vow, and then all I'll have to do is Howl of Shabiri before he spawns. But if you try to do both incantations before he spawns, you're going to get overwhelmed. And then if you go too far up the river here, the dogs will aggro on you as well. There is a cookbook right here, and this is where we're going to start buffing. We're going to drink our flask and do Golden Vow. We're going to use our Nox Flowing Sword here. We're going to dismount and use Howl of Shabiri. Something I've noticed about invaders is that they'll just come at you. So you can use a weapon like the Nox Flowing Sword and just run away from them, and they'll come at you, and you can use the range to just cheese them, basically. They'll walk into your attacks just like this. But in this case, this NPC uses a swarm of flies, so we're going to use the terrain to kind of block it here. But as you can see, it's nothing. He'll just run into your Nox Flowing Sword, and it's easy peasy. Just don't go near the dogs up top of this platform, because we don't have the torch equipped. Now it's time to kill Varre, the one that gave us access to this beautiful land in the first place. To get to him, we're going to go back to this side of grace here, the midpoint side of grace. And it's right behind us, basically. I don't know if you can't get the items that Varre gives you if you kill Mohg. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it, but let's just go ahead and get it to be safe. We're going to put our lantern on for some light. And we're going to buff before engaging here. Golden Vow, Howl of Shabiri again. As you can see, Whitemask is down here. You can actually see him. We're going to approach on the ground level, though. We're not going to drop on him or anything. And for some reason, he kind of glitches on me a little bit. To my benefit, though, he kind of does the moonwalk here and lets me get a free hit in. He's walking backwards. I'm not sure if you can duplicate this or not, but it worked out for me. Again, we're just going to use the Nox Flowing Sword. There's nothing really much to say here. With the buffs active, you could probably pretty much kill him before he even uses his flasks. Our next objective is to kill the Imprisoned Merchant. Now, he is the most difficult merchant we've fought, but there is a way to kill him easily. I'm going to talk to him, Varre here, his dying words, and we'll get his bouquet. Interesting weapon. The club weapon that does bleed. Now for the Imprisoned Merchant. Now, the Imprisoned Merchant is sandwiched between 2 Sanguine Nobles. Very high-scaled Sanguine Nobles. Very difficult to fight while you're fighting the merchant once you've aggroed him. So I recommend using a spirit summon. We're going to use Latenna to help us a little bit with the Sanguine Nobles and the merchant. We're just going to run past all of these exploding putrid corpses. Now, you may have noticed at the beginning of the video, I was prepping for like a sacred build. And I am going to use the Sacred Blade here to finish off the merchant, because he uses frenzies, flames, and stuff, and it's going to be a a difficult proposition to get close to him, so we're going to have to attack him from distance. And the Sacred Blade is what I've chosen to go with. But to be honest, by the time he even gets to his feet, he's nearly dead anyway. But if you were coming here early on and you weren't very buffed, you could use Sacred Blade to wither him down. But right here, we're just going to stop and we're going to buff. You are going to want the Nox Flowing Sword for the Sanguine Nobles. This first Sanguine Noble, we're going to fight by ourselves. I'm going to stand about right here and just start using Nox Flowing for him. Three hits ought to do it. We're going to come over here and we're going to spawn Latina. This is just to help us with the Sanguine Noble's aggro, because there's a Sanguine Noble that's spawning right now. But we're going to go in here and we're going to quickly aggro the merchant. If we can stun him, we can get the riposte, and then we're going to back up. He's nearly dead anyway. One Sacred Blade will take him out. Now we have the all-important bell bearing for this imprisoned merchant. We can help Latina finish off this Sanguine Noble if we want to. I chose to, and then I realized I didn't have any Sacred Blade ammo. Sacred Blade is a really good option, especially early game for range attacks. It doesn't always have to be used against skeletons. The Sanguine Nobles are quite an annoying enemy. Quite annoying indeed. But with all that taken care of, it's time to take on Mohg. Mohgwyn. A very easy boss, so we're going to make him a very easy. But before we go to Mohgwyn, we're going to go to the Roundtable Hold and return this bell bearing. Now you're probably wondering, what's so important about this bell bearing that you would go outside your moral compass and murder an innocent merchant? Well, let's find out, shall we? He has, believe it or not, unlimited blood roses. That's right, no more farming for those things. But more importantly, he has an unlimited supply of bird bolts. Bird bolts, not bird, but bird bolts, do more damage than bone bolts and have better range. So those are going to be our go-to, and our backups will be the blood bone bolts. Now, it's time for Mohg. We're so confident that we're not even going to use his tier. We're going to use the Thorny Cracked tier and the Green Burst Crystal tier. Now for our build. Just get rid of everything real quick. We'll start from scratch. We're going to start with the Blood Falchions, 2 of them, with seppuku on the Ash of War. For our talismans, we're going to do the Winged Sword Insignia, the Blood Exaltation, the Ritual Sword Talisman, and the Green Turtle Talisman. Stamina is very important in this fight. And we're also going to have the Mohg Shackle. This is a requirement for the strategy that we're about to use. And also, we're going to get rid of Indy's hat momentarily and put on the Whitemask that we just got from the Invader, because while bleed is active, you'll get a 10% bonus for a few seconds. I think it's like 20 seconds, I'm not sure. But it's like having an extra Ritual Sword Talisman. So it's very important to have when you're trying to speed kill a boss, which we're doing here. Before entering, though, let's go ahead and buff. Golden Vow and Howl of Shabriri. And then we have to seppuku ourselves twice. Offhand first, and then the main hand. Drink our flasks. Get ready to use Mohg Shackle, but before that, we need to summon Latina, just as an insurance policy. But for some reason, I guess it glitched right there. I still could have summoned her, but for some reason it didn't want me to summon her. Get as close as you can to Mohg and use the Shackle. You should be able to do a 4-hit combo with your dual falchions, and then get behind him and just start finishing him off here, because he's going to be doing his blood curse on you, but he's got to do it 3 times, and by the time he does it a 3rd time, you've already killed him. And that's it. We don't even have to see his second phase or any of his attacks. Make sure to put on your golden scarab for maximum rune acquisition. We haven't leveled in quite a long time, and we're sitting on millions of runes now. So we're going to go ahead and level to where we want our dex to be. And I want my dex to be 48 because I want to be able to use the Hand of Millennia at some point. So yeah, dexterity is at 25 right now. We're going to take it to 48, but we can only get to 46 with the runes that we have. But that is our short-term goal, is to get it to 48. That's only 2 more levels. But in all honesty, most of our weapons are dex weapons anyway, so it's going to benefit us regardless. So let's go ahead and enter the Land of Shadow. Oh boy, this area, guys. This is a great DLC. Great DLC. It's got so many goodies that are just scattered all over the place, and that are very easy to get. A lot of them are really easy to get. We're going to get quite a bit of groceries in this area. In fact, we're not even going to be able to finish in this video. We're going to have to split this video up. I tried to do it in one video, and it was just going to be way too long. So I decided not to. So we're just going to kill one boss in this video, but we're going to be running around collecting all kinds of stuff. Basically, most of these items are upgrades to our current weapons. So, for example, our jar cannon has an upgrade. Our green turtle talisman has an upgrade. So we're going to upgrade as much as we can to make our lives easier in the base game and in the DLC. I highly recommend using unseen form and keeping a low profile early on, because we are not equipped to handle any of these enemies right now, because we need to collect Scadtree Fragments. These will give us the power that we need to face the enemies in this Land of Shadow. Now, it also affects how much damage you receive. So it is so beneficial to collect these things. So we're gonna go around collecting enough of them to get to level 10, which is a Scadtree requirement, I say, for facing the first boss that we're going to fight. We're going to go around and we're going to put some markers here for some items that we want to get. Make our lives easier in getting them. Our first order of business is to get to that church down there, which has 2 Scadtree fragments. But I'm also going to run into revered spirit ashes, which is the same thing as your Scadtree fragments, except for your spirit ashes. So I'm going to collect them, but I'm not going to be summoning in the DLC, at least not in this video. But there's one straight ahead here you can collect if you want to. Now just follow the cliff edge until you can drop down. So right here. I do have the cat talisman equipped, so I won't take any fall damage. I'm not sure if you'll get fall damage here, but that was a pretty long drop, probably. Now there's the church right there. There is an enemy nearby. You don't have to fight him. You can just grab the fragments and run, and that's what we're going to do. I like to approach from this side, but he is on patrol, and he will stay close to this altar area here. But there's your first 2. Our next order of business is to get our first pot guy. There's these pot guys that have Scadtree fragments as well, and that's where our jar cannon is going to come into play. We want to snipe these guys from a distance so they don't disappear. They're kind of like scarabs, where they'll disappear, some of the disappearing ones. But they're surrounded by all these enemies and dogs, so that's why we want to have the torch as well. So we want to be able to shoot and have the torch out at the same time, because I have had dogs come at me. But we're going to do this from a pretty good distance too, so we probably won't aggro anything, but it's better to be safe than sorry. We're just going to ignore all these enemies. Now, there's some items in this area right here I'm skipping, but we will come back to it in the next video. I wanted to get what was important to kill the first boss that I wanted to kill, and that wasn't that important, so Here we're going to go unseen form. We use the jar cannon, and there he is right there. We're just going to snipe him. Make sure our torch is out before entering into this graveyard because the dogs are very aggressive here. And these casters will just start harassing you as well. We're just going to get it and run away. Now we're going to go ahead and get our next Grace, which has another Scadtree Fragment. We don't want to aggro these furnace golems, though. They are not fun to deal with. So we're just going to, like I say, keep a low profile in the beginning of this DLC because, like I say, we're not ready to fight yet. Not for the most part. We can kill those little pot guys or whatever. That's about it for now. Every time you see these Mikola crosses, you know you're in a good spot because they're going to be a usually a Grace or a Scadtree Fragment or both nearby. Now we're going to head to Castle Insis, which is across this bridge. Now we're going to put another marker over here. There is a hidden path off here, and then we're going to put a marker here. That's our next destination. We're just going to use unseen form before going across the bridge because there is a ballista at the end of the bridge, then he will snipe you. Realize I don't have any juice. Well, that's going to be rectified relatively soon. We'll have to worry about FP anymore. That's right, we'll never have to worry about FP ever again. Well, at least in the long term. We'll be able to regenerate it. In addition to our heal talismans that have, you know, ways to get FP, we'll be able to get even more FP consistently there. Here is our next fragment. In front of these little America statues. We're going to go into Castle Insis later, but not right now. First, we want to go ahead and collect our next item, which is an upgrade. Well, it's kind of like a shotgun, actually. It's like called the spread crossbow. We're trying to collect all of the crossbows, the fist weapons, the whips, everything that was in our main build for Indiana Jones. So here's the first upgrade. It's kind of like a shotgun. But it is a crossbow, the spread crossbow. Now we're going to get that next fragment. Periodically just recast unseen form just to be safe that you don't aggro certain enemies. Especially the golems. The golems, you definitely want to be invisible as much as possible before treading into their territory. And as a general rule, try to stay off the roads because they're patrolled usually. But if you follow this path, you'll run into another Mikola's Cross that has another fragment. But before we leave this area, we also want to collect an ancient dragon smithing stone, which we will use very soon. We're just tagging these graces. We're not sitting at them usually. Now we need to make our way to this tower. This tower over here has our ancient dragon smithing stone, which we want to get right here. Again, there it is right there. You can see it. We're going to head that direction. Another good thing about the DLC is, you know, typically if you want to upgrade your weapons to 24 or 25, you have to go to Crumbling Farum Azula to get the last bell bearings. But in the DLC, you have some that are really high level stones just laying around, and you can farm for them. And pretty high drop rates too. And I'm going to show you guys where to farm for them. Not in this video, but in the next video, we're going to definitely be doing some, well, not farming, but I'm just going to show you how to farm for them. But yeah, you can get pretty much all of your weapons to plus 24 if you want. And even the Somber, you can get to 9. And you won't have to go to Crumbling Fair Missoula, which is nice. And the enemies aren't that hard to kill either. At least not with the strategies I'm going to use. Just keep using Unseen Form around these birds. They'll harass you till we get to this tower. Suppressing Pillar. We're going to use this Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone on our Misericord. That is going to be the first weapon that we upgrade to max, is the Misericord. Critical damage is very cool in Elden Ring, and it allows us to just trivialize bosses. So I figured it's going to be a very useful weapon to upgrade, so it has the highest crit modifier, so why not? Going back to the Castle Insis entrance here. And now we're going for our Green Talisman upgrade. So our Green Talisman has served us well, but now we're going to get an upgrade. The twin-headed Green Turtle Talisman. The two-headed Green Turtle Talisman is down here. Not too hard to get to. It's a little bit of a trek, but we don't have to face any enemies. So that's always a nice thing. So you want to take this path that we just took, except we're just going to stay to the far left. I'm going to start dropping down. You will run into some bats along the way, but Unseen Form is your friend. Just keep running, keep dropping. I'm going to start from the left and work our way down. These bats. Yeah, just avoid them. You want to make your way towards where this big flower is. There are two entrances. This is one of them. There's another area in this part right here, but we're just going to go this way. Take a sharp left here. As soon as you enter this area, you'll see another Spirit Ash to the right. And there's a Grace in the next area. Always important to just tag these Graces as you go. You want to take a right here as soon as you exit. And just keep going in this direction, avoiding the crabs and the enemies that come around. And just until you see a waterfall. You're going to go behind that waterfall, and your Green Turtle Talisman will be sitting right there amongst these worm things. I'm not sure what they're called yet. I haven't really done my research on DLC enemies, but I just avoid them. I don't like those enemies, though. Those are a real pain. They'll harass you. A little bit of a trek, but it's worth it. These upgrades are going to be amazing later. And there's our waterfall. Just avoid the crab. He's eating. He's not concerned with us. But like I say, the more Unseen Form you have, the better when trekking through this area early on. And there it is. Two-headed Turtle Talisman. This will increase by 22% now stamina recovery, which is nice. We're just going to go up here until we can de-aggro the enemy and go back to our side of grace, which is, again, the castle front, Castle Grace. Now, we're just going to briefly run into Castle Incis to get a Scadtree Fragment, but we're not going to engage any enemies. We're just going to run past all of the enemies just to grab the grace and the fragment. There is a troll that will greet you at the entrance. We'll kill him later in the next video, not in this video. We'll kill him in the next video. But for now, we're just going to run past him. He will give you a nice somber smithing stone for killing him. I believe it's a somber 9. Always good to have those. There's a little camp to the right here with a dog. Just run past everybody. As long as you have Crepus Vial, you'll be alright. And Unseen Form. Now up here there is a enemy that is not so easy to kill, but we're just going to let him walk by, but we'll deal with him later on, but not right now. He's on his little patrol here. Just let him pass, and then behind him is the fragment and the grace. Now we can go back to a different grace. We're going to go back to this grace right here where we got one of the fragments. And we're going to start heading towards our next destination, which is another grace that has another fragment. Very close by. Just going to go straight ahead here. Now there is a building you can enter to get yet another Spirit Ash, but I'm not getting it in this episode. I didn't feel it was a need. I didn't need it. And the video was already getting very long, so I decided to skip it. But if you want the Spirit Ash, it's in that building up the stairs, close to the grace that we're about to hit. You'll have to deal with scorpions, quite a bit of them. New enemy. But yeah, right up those stairs and into that building if you want the Spirit Ash. And here is a merchant here too if you want to buy some things. I'm going to hit this grace and go to the next destination. Now our next destination is going to be right here in this. It's another one of those pot guys, and then we're going to get a bell bearing that should have been in the base game, to be honest. The string bell bearing, which allows us to buy infinite string, so no more farming for string either. So if you're one of those people that like to use the lightning grease or whatever, the string grease, you'll be able to do it as much as you want. No more farming for string. I recommend using it, using the unseen form through here because there are bats coming up, and you know how I feel about bats. There's some right there. We're just going to pass all of them, and there is a grace nearby. Hit the grace. Prospect Town is directly ahead of us. That is where we will get our bell bearing, but first, let's go ahead and get that pot guy. Again, we're going to use the same method we did before with the jar cannon from a distance. We're going to single him out, kill him, take his goods, and get out. I'm going to dismount right here, start aiming, looking for him. And there he is. Even though we don't have any, we haven't upgraded our blessings yet, we can still one-shot these guys with the jar cannon. They'll start casting these skulls at you once they see you. Just avoid them and get the loot and move on. Now we're going to get one of my favorite talismans in the game after we get the string bell bearing. But first we're going to get the string bell bearing. It's very, very close by. It's right here. That's why we marked it twice. We marked We had 2 markers. One was really close by, so I recommend using Unseen Form here because these enemies up here are very dangerous. These troll-like enemies. But right here, where we had our marker, you'll see a pot that's just hanging on the mountainside there. Just shoot it. Jar cannon, and you'll get your string bell bearing. Really should have been in the base game, to be honest. I guess there was enough complaints to where they put it in the DLC. Now, my favorite talisman in the game probably is right here. No longer will we have to worry about FP consumption because all our buffs, all our little skills are going to be free now because this talisman regenerates FP. The Blessed Blue Dew Talisman. It is, in my opinion, it is my favorite talisman, I must say. Not having to worry about FP is a good thing, so yeah. This combined with other things, you'll never have to worry about FP ever again. Now, I will say, there is an enemy over here that is very, very dangerous, and I recommend avoiding him. So if you stay on the lower path, you can still get to the church, but I recommend going up here and jumping onto the top of the church to avoid the enemy. The enemy is right below us right here, but I don't recommend fighting him or getting close to him. He will aggro and make your life hell trying to get to this talisman. So we're just going to do a simple hop onto this church. And we'll have to not even deal with his shenanigans. And there is my talisman. The Blessed Blue Dew Talisman. And now we're going to go back to Castle Inzus yet again. And now we're going to... Okay, we're going to go ahead and put on the talisman. Because now when we cast Unseen Form, it'll just regenerate. And we'll be able to cast it again and again without having to worry about using FP flasks. You'll see it slowly regenerate, but for travel and for areas and legacy dungeons where you don't want to sit at graces to respawn enemies, this is a perfect talisman for you. You want to head in this direction. We're bypassing the first boss of the game in the Castle Inzus area. We don't want to fight them. There's no sense in it when we can just take the back road. And it's not hard to get to. As you can see, we've already regenerated the FP that it cost to use the Unseen Form once. Didn't take long at all to regenerate. So basically all of our stuff is free now, basically. Good feeling, I say. Just avoid these enemies and head across the swamp here. And we're going to get our next talisman, which is going to improve our Magma Whip Candlestick. Because it increases magma potency. And since we do use the Magma Whip Candlestick quite a bit, this is going to be a great talisman for us to add to our arsenal. Whenever we want to use the Magma Whip Candlestick and fire damage. We're basically becoming an overpowered machine by getting all of these talismans and upgrades. It's just going to make the base game a cakewalk even more than it is right now. There's a shack straight ahead, and that's where our talisman is. Very easy to get. Like I say, they're just, some of these talismans and stuff is just so easy to collect. They're just sitting here, begging you to collect them. So the Talisman of the Dread. This will increase our Magma Whip Candlestick's potency. Now, well, with our Magma Whip Candlestick, I should say our skill. Sea of Magma. Now, you'll need to activate the Spirit Spring just like that. We need to go up 2 Spirit Springs to get to our next destination. This is essentially bypassing the first area boss, because you have to kill the boss in Castle Inzus to get access to the next region, which is Gata Altus. We're going to be at the Fort of Reprimand. Some nice things to collect here. The first thing are some smithing stones we're going to collect up this ladder. There's an omen nearby, or an omen killer nearby, but he is not going to be a problem. We're going to run past him and he won't even know we're there. We'll get a whopping 4 8s, smithing stone 8s, 4 of them. That's huge, guys. Those are so high level smithing stones. We're just going to jump over here, and he didn't even aggro on us. The beauty of Unseen Form and Crepus Vial combined. Now here is your grace. Now we're not going to just visit the area just yet. There's some high level runes down here I want to collect. One is like 80,000 and the other was like 15,000. That's 95,000, like just for free. So why not? So we're going to collect the first one, and here's the one that's whopping 80,000, the America's rune. And we're just going to loop back around. We'll be back to where we were. For some people, that's a whole level or more. Definitely worth the effort to get. Our next item is going to be an upgrade to our pulley crossbow that has served us so well, although we are using the pulley crossbow in this episode for a boss fight. So we're not going to retire it just yet. But the reason this upgrade is so good is because of how quick it can proc status effects. It can do it almost instantly, but the problem is it uses so much ammo, but it is called the repeating crossbow. But it is definitely an upgrade to proccing status effects. But it is slow, and that's the reason we're not using it in this boss fight coming up. Because we need to be as fast as possible. So in this little area right here, you'll see a dragon coming in just wrecking havoc on this village. But we're just going to keep a low profile and collect our crossbow that's right here. Then we're going to do a turn here, and then we're going to look for a spirit spring we have to activate. Just stay on this path here. Mind the bats. There's how you activate it. Now going up here will give us another fragment. Trying to get as many of these as possible before fighting the boss. So yes, we do need to get it. Our goal is level 10 blessing before fighting our first boss. The damage just wouldn't be good enough to take him out efficiently. I think the cutoff, the soft cap is 12. The blessing level is 12 is what I've heard. But we're going to go to 10 in this episode. And the next episode will have 11, I know. Because I've essentially already made the second video. I just couldn't put it in all into this video. It would have been 2 hours long, guys. I didn't want to do a video that was 2 hours. Over 2 hours, actually. Because we're going to collect a lot more in the DLC than I originally anticipated. Now, we're going back the way we came, and there's some more fragments to collect that are just in the area. We just want to stay away from the dragon and his shenanigans, let him have his fun. We're looking for a grace first. And next to the grace will be our next fragment. Morath Ruins. We have to come here a couple of times. But for now, we're just going to collect the fragment and move on. But this is our main way forward. But we can't go. We're not going to go just yet. We have too much to do in this area before moving on. Very nearby, right ahead of us, right here, is another little village, like camp, and that has another fragment just sitting there in front of this statue right here. So many of these things are just right out in the open. Took a little hit there. Now we're gonna head towards this like a where these little things sticking out of the water that you saw before when we got the green turtle talisman. And now we're gonna go here, and there's another statue right here. We're gonna get another fragment. We will enter this area later, but not in this video. There's a lot of goodies behind that cave. Oh, is there ever. We're gonna go ahead and get the map so that we can mark some things on the map here. Here's the map. Now, let's plan our route out here. There is a fragment here. We need to go down here for another spirit spring that's hidden. I'm going to get another fragment. Over here, we need to come over here because this is we need to get to a fort, and there's a way you have to drop off, so we're going to collect an item down there. So let's go ahead and get our next fragment, which is straight ahead, and this golem is sitting. You know the golem is there, you're in the right spot. It's literally right there, but you don't have to go very far. Get the fragment and get out. Now we need to head south. We're looking for another one of those Miquella's crosses, but you can see it already in the distance. My apologies, I thought it was a spirit spring, but it's not. It's just the Miquella's cross. So there's a church here with an invader. We're not going to fight the invader. We're going to get the 2 fragments that are in the church, and then we're going to leave. But we're not going to be able to use our horseback. We're not going to be able to get away on horseback because when you're invaded, it will not let you use horseback. So we have to run away long enough so we can use our horse again. It doesn't take long. In fact, we're going to be running towards the next grace anyway. Now, I might be bypassing certain items, but like I said, this is not the first video in the DLC. We are going to be revisiting the DLC. I might do 2 additional videos in the DLC. I'm not sure yet. It's just I found so many good things in the DLC, I might expand the search. You may or may not be able to get away in time before you're attacked. Just this is not this fragment here. I thought this was the fragment at first, but that's just a rune arc. And I was like, uh-oh. Nope. He's going to spawn in, grab the fragment, the 2 fragments, and just run back the way you came as fast as you can. We are not ready to fight this enemy. Not even close. But again, we cannot use torrent. But just keep running until you can. It says that he's left his went back to his world. But if you head in this direction, you'll get close to the next grace. Now that he's returned to his world, we can use torrent again. And And that's our destination right there on the map. Once you've reached this grace, you know you're in the right spot to do the drop-off. We're going to increase our bolt and arrow damage by getting 3 talismans we can stack, which is just going to make our build even that much better. So you're going to drop down here. I recommend using Unseen Form. I actually forgot to use it. Or I should have cast it right there, and I jumped down and realized, uh-oh, didn't cast it yet. The enemies are onto me. Just run past all these enemies. We will be coming back here to get another item later, but not in this video. You want to stay right here and wait for this enemy to come out. You don't want to fight him. He's technically a mini-boss. He has a health bar and everything. Just run past him and get the chest here. 8 smithing stone 7s. That's huge. That's huge right now. That's literally an upgrade almost. You want to come around here and you're going to climb a couple ladders. And at the top of this ladder, you'll have your next upgrade for your bolts and arrows. If you're a ranged build, you'll definitely want this. The Arrow's Soaring Sting Talisman. Now, you can stack this with the other Sting Talisman, but you can't stack it with the Reach Talisman. But that's okay, because being able to stack the damaged talisman is even better, in my opinion. You get the best of both worlds. So now we're at the Morth Ruins. Now, this area is annoying. This part is annoying, guys. I'm not going to lie. I actually still don't know how to do this. But there's a talisman here before we do this parkour thing. Come over to this roof, hang a left, and get this. This will increase your stomping abilities, like Storm Stomp and such. This area, I mean, I don't really know what to say. Just kind of try to drop down with Torrent right here. But a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I'll fall into my death. But just try to duplicate what I just did. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how to do it consistently. So I apologize for that. Just follow the path here, out of the ruins. But yeah, the Shattered Stone Talisman, that's going to increase another one of our skills. Frost Stomp and Storm Stomp. Now, I haven't used the other stomp, the Storm Stomp, yet, but I'm going to put it on the original whip eventually. Because you can just walk up to enemies, use the Storm Stomp, and then you'll have free reign to use a charged attack. Just something else you can do. There's so many things you can do in this game, guys. It's crazy. But yeah, that's a nice little talisman that will increase your stomping abilities, I think, by 10%. So Hoarfrost Stomp, Storm Stomp will benefit. Bonnie Village. This is home to our final whip for our Indiana Jones build. And if you want, if you are one of those that like to dual wield big knives or whatever, there's another butcher knife here. It's practically the same thing. It's just called the Bonnie knife or something. If you want to dual wield them, I guess you could. Now, the final whip, the Tooth Whip. This is our final whip in the game. We've collected all the whips now. This one is basically the same thing as the Serpent Bone Blade. It gives you the same deadly poison. They're nice to have that too. A lot of possibilities for builds. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet in this playthrough or not. We shall see. Go across this bridge and hit the grace immediately. Don't forget to hit the grace. We're also bypassing yet another boss that we don't have to fight to enter the Shadow Keep. Normally you have to fight this hippopotamus, a golden hippopotamus or something, but we're bypassing that because there's no reason for us to fight it right now. You'll get a message, which I don't really know what that means. Still don't know. I'm new to the DLC, guys. So, if you know what it is, let me know. We're going to go through this cave entrance. Now, be careful. There is a golem nearby, and yeah, we don't like these big golems. They're very formidable opponents. We're going to use the Spirit Spring to get some extra distance away from him. And, of course, Unseen Form for the win. Our next upgrade is an upgrade to our Jar Cannon. This is called the Rabbath Jar Cannon or something. This one is special, though, because it can benefit with magic. So we could use Terra Magica with it. And I think it has some special bolts as well. So maybe in the future we shall utilize it, but I'm not sure yet. But it is an upgrade. We want to collect all of our upgrades for our weaponry. And this one's very easy to get as well. Just hit the grace. And go up here. You have to solve a little puzzle, but it's nothing if you know the solution. There's an illusionary wall inside that you have to break the Spirit Spring. Rabbath. Rabbath's Rise. Yeah, this is the Jar Cannon area here. So you see these two little arches here. You just hit one of them. Break the illusionary wall and hit this. To release the Spirit Spring. You're aiming for the staircase up at the top. Pretty high up there. You can see it right there. Now we have an upgrade to our Jar Cannon. Rabbath's Cannon. Now back to the Grace. And on to Shadow Keep. This is where you'll farm for your smithing stones 7s and 8s. It's really not that bad of a drop rate either. I think it's like 8% or something. And if you add item discovery, I mean, you're going to get 7s and 8s pretty regularly. And you just pick the weapon that you really want to upgrade. Unless you really want to go to Crumbling Farum Azula, which I do not want to until the very, very end of this game. Then yeah. I'm avoiding that area. So I'm going to use this area to get my weapons to where I want. Just the ones that I'm mainly going to use. And there's a Grace right next to the area too, which even makes it even more convenient. You'll dismount and you'll be in this area. We're not fighting any enemies here. We're running and we're going to use Unseen Form. This is the church district. You're just going to jump over to this rooftop. Follow your way around. You'll need to use the dormer here and jump onto this area. Stay to the outside. Go up here. Now you should probably cast Unseen Form before getting up here, because there is a Fire Knight, and these are the guys you want to farm for your 7 and 8s, but we're not farming this particular knight. In fact, we're not even going to look at him. We're just going to run this way. You got to make a jump over here. Be very careful. I have fallen off so many times trying to get up here, and I almost fell off right there. You can see one of those terrain glitches. You want to drop off right here onto this little thing here. Drop into the hole. You're almost there. You just got to get past a few enemies to get to the Grace. I recommend using Unseen Form and camping out into this in this room here, this side room. You'll get a nice room as well. Just wait until he passes. These are very annoying enemies, but we're going to make it easy to farm the stones, but we're not going to do that in this episode. There's an easy way to kill him, but not that one. The one we're going to kill has his back to us, which is very convenient. You want to take this lift up. You'll be in the specimen storeroom area. Don't forget to get this Somber 9 that's just hanging out there, just begging for you to collect it. This is the grace you'll farm. You'll use your farming for 7s and 8s right here. We're not going to do it in this episode, but the enemies in question are right around the corner. We want to use our Glintstone Chris here because there are bats around, and we don't like bats. And we need to get our blessing up. Now that we've collected the stones that we need, let's go ahead and upgrade to +10. Now we can fight the boss. You want at least 10. 10 is good. All the fragments that we collected so far were not too hard to get, and, you know, you can kill the boss. Unseen form, and we're going to use the Glintstone Chris to take out those annoying bats up on the rafters, because we don't like bats. You want to climb this ladder? I probably should not have cast Unseen Form so early because it's already worn out. Yeah, don't cast Unseen Form until you get to the top of the ladder. Well, these enemies, as long as you have Crepus Vial, you don't even have to deal with them anyway. You want to stick to the right side and get to the hole in the wall. So this area right here, look to the right. Now we're going to have to deal with the bats. Once we go up this lift, but there is a grace here, just in case the bats end you. But we have the Glintstone Chris, and the Glintstone Chris is their kryptonite. If they're just sitting there, they're not going to survive, especially with the Godfrey icon. We don't even need to buff any more than that. It's just, we have it at +9, so it's going to destroy all of these bats easily. We're just going to run past this first one, though. Go up this ladder. You want to look for where there's rope on the ground right here. There's a cog here. You want to get on that. Here's where I'm going to take out some of the bats. We're going to take out this one here. And the one in front of us. And this little guy, he thinks he's going to ruin our party as well. Show him that our Glintstone Chris is not to be reckoned with. It hones in on him too, which is great. I'm going to collect this Somber 8, and then we're going to drop down. Get through the exit here, and we're nearly there, guys. I'm going to take this lift down, and I'm going to take another lift, and we'll be at the boss. Now this boss, a lot of people don't like this boss. They usually cheese him, and he's very annoying, I must say. Even with my strategy, it's just, he's got some attacks where if you don't have a way of avoiding it consistently, you're gonna die. But I have an ace in the hole. I have something that's going to trivialize this boss, and it's called Vow of the Indomitable. We've used this before, only once, against a red wolf in one of my videos, but it's going to absolutely make this boss very doable with the setup that we're going to have. Very relaxing, I must say. Like, you'll see it coming, you'll see his attacks coming way ahead of time, and as long as you get your timing down, he's not that hard. In fact, we're not even going to take a blemish from him here. But let's go ahead and collect this other fragment before getting into Commander Gaius's territory. That's the name of the boss, Commander Gaius. A lot of people cheese this guy with the Mohg spear, but we don't have to do that. Before we take on Commander Gaius, we need to go back to the Roundtable Hold and get ammo for our pulley crossbow, which are the new bird bolts. And we also need to upgrade our pulley crossbow to +9. We don't have a somber ancient dragon smithing stone we can use, but +9 is good enough. Upgrades at Roundtable. Let's go ahead and talk boss strategy for Commander Gaius. The main problem with Commander Gaius, even using our strategy, is FP consumption. So the less we can consume, the better. There are things you can do to alleviate this, but I'm going to have 9 flasks. I'm just going to keep my main ratio 9-4. That allows me 4 mistakes, because you can take a hit from Commander Gaius in some attacks, but not all. But you can use the Ash of War helmet, the Scarab helmet. You can use the Carrion Filigree crest, and those stack, so you can actually save quite a bit of FP, because we're going to be spamming Vow of the Indomitable a lot, and it takes quite a bit of FP after a while. You don't want to get in a situation where you run out of, FP. But I did it without any buffs like that, just to see if it was doable, and it is. But if you're having problems, consider using the Ash of War helmet, the Scarab helmet, and the Carrion Filigree crest. Like I said, those stack, so that can help quite a bit. But like I said, we're going to do it without that. The other problem is you need to learn how to reload. Reloading is very dangerous in this fight. So reload when you're either dodging or after you've used Vow of the Indomitable. You'll see right here as we demonstrate. Build, you'll need the pulley crossbow, a shield with Vow of the Indomitable, poison or rot bolts, bird bolts. We're going to go with Ritual Sword Talisman, the new Arrow Talisman, and you can stack it with the other damaged talisman. And we're going to use Kindred of Rot Exaltation. That's all we're going to use. We're not even going to buff in this fight. So, Commander Gaius is going to come out here, knock a tree down, and he'll start charging you. Wait till just before he hits you and use Vow of the Indomitable. Wait till he turns around, start using a volley of your Rot Bolts. Distance is very key in this fight. You'll need to keep a certain distance to trigger certain attacks. Right here is where you really want to be at. When he summons the rocks, always dodge to the side. And if he does that attack, do exactly how I did. Walk away from him and then get ready to dodge. Easy to dodge. It's very easily telegraphed. Just maintain your FP. Make sure you keep an eye on it. If you run out of FP, you're in big trouble. So always pop off when you get a chance. Poison. You can use either your blood bone bolts or your bird bolts over and over until the rot runs out. See, whenever he does this, just get ready to dodge. It's very telegraphed. Try not to fire until he's facing you, until the boar is actually facing you, so you don't waste any bolts. You want all 3 to hit most of the time. Here it's just an easy dodge forward. He does have an 8 combo attack, but he will rear up and you'll know it's coming, and then you need to run the hell away from it. Or you can dodge it side to side, left to right, left to right. Not terribly hard to dodge, but it's kind of nerve-wracking when he does it. As you can see, I'm loading every time I use Vow of the Indomitable, and now he's going into his second phase. You see it's pretty straightforward. We're just firing over and over after an attack, a charge attack. Now he's going to start doing a different charge attack now, and he's also going to put out these orbs. You definitely don't want to be near those things. Just keep using Vow of the Indomitable, and you're going to have a more difficult time getting him to proc the rot now. Getting the rot to proc, because it's just harder to hit him. But whenever you get a chance, right here is a good example. You want to get the rot a good shot in. Just keep using Vow of the Indomitable. That's the main key to this fight. So he's rotted now. Always run away when he does these attacks right here. And when the rots come out, I just use Vow of the Indomitable. I've never figured out how to dodge the rot. You're just going to have to use Vow of the Indomitable to be 100% safe. And whenever he jumps up like that, it's pretty easy to put up your shield and do Vow of the Indomitable to go through that attack. And even with no buffs, we've still nearly killed him. He's almost 3/4 now. But that's pretty much the gist. You just got to keep doing this over and over. When he goes up in the air, just run away again. And he will do his 8-hit combo attack at the end of this fight. So you'll get to see it. The quicker you run away from it, the better. He's got amazing range with his initial sword attack. You'll get clipped by it more often than not. This is basically it, guys. Just keep this up. Keep reloading as soon as you use Vow of the Indomitable. Keep firing. I mean, I really don't have much else to say. You'll have to learn how to dodge certain attacks. Out how to dodge the rock attack. It's just too random. I don't know. Vow of the Indomitable, just spam it and you'll be fine. Just keep reapplying the rot when it runs out and just keep using the bird bolts on him. Just make sure to keep your FP topped off. That's pretty much it, guys. There are a few other attacks like this. He'll do a 3-hit combo, but you can punish after he's done with it. You'll have to learn a few of his attacks, but like I say, it's not going to take too much practice to take this guy out with this strategy. Because his charge attack, which is the main issue with this guy, we're nullifying it with Vow of the Indomitable. He's going to close with his 8-hit attack here coming up. He's going to go up one more time. Just run away. The reason I run away is twofold. Because of that attack, plus he's going to spam the rocks. And sometimes he'll always charge you, either with that charge or his jumping charge. Just create distance initially when he does that transition. Here's his 3-hit combo again. I really thought that was going to kill him. Here I missed, and here's his 3-hit or 8-hit combo he's going to come up with here. One more time. I ran out of FP here. See, I was pushing it. You might want to use FP consumption methods here. Here's his 8-hit attack. And that's it. Yeah, I was pushing the envelope. I only had one flask left. FP consumption is definitely a problem in this fight. But if you can learn how to manage it, not too hard. And this is a consistent strategy on killing him. We didn't even take a hit, so pretty good. Pretty good method there. Now we can get our last talisman for bolt and arrow damage. There are 3 talismans you can stack to increase bolt and arrow damage. I couldn't figure out where I was at here. That's the initial area where we entered. Here's where you want to go. But yeah, you'll have 3 talismans you can stack now to increase bolt and arrow damage. Which is nice. We're going to get that talisman, and that is going to be the episode, guys. I'm not going to combine any more of my footage that I had because it was just too much. But we will be back, and we'll kill the next boss in the next video. And more items to increase our build's power. I'm just, I was doing some prep for the next boss fight here, but I just ignore this. It's going to change anyway. We will need the gilded shield that I just got out of the box, though, so remember that. Some kind of a shield that can parry. But yeah, I was thinking I was going to the next boss fight here, but I'm not. So ignore all of this prep right now. Like I said, it's going to change anyway. Although some of the items on screen you will need. You will definitely need the torch. That's for sure. The dagger talisman you will need. Anything that can increase critical damage, definitely. But that'll be in the next episode. I'll let you guys try to figure out which boss I'm going for next. May not be so obvious. But here is where we want to go. But there is an Albernuric warrior here on a mount, and we don't want to aggro her. So we're going to stay off of the beaten path here and sneak in to the shack and get our talisman and get out. But this is the final talisman that we need to bolster our bolt and arrow damage. This one is the Sharpshot Talisman, which will increase precision shots. So you have to be zoomed in for this one, but it's still really good. Before we leave, we need to come in here and get some Scadtree Fragments. There's a lot of them just laying on the ground here. This one will enable us to get to level 11, which will help us even more in the next episode. I believe there's 5 of them. Yes, 5. All right. That's it, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. I promise. You won't have to wait 7 months this time.